when you know your end goal, the stuff in between doesn't matter as much because you know where you're going to end up. Let the rest of the pieces fill in the place. It's like we don't really carry stress or worry about what if, because we know where we're going to end up. And I was trying to come up with every excuse to like not go to his Bob Proctor's like speech.
I said to Michael in the car on the way back, I have no idea how we're going to do it, but we're going to be YouTubers.
I'm going to be the biggest artist in the world.
Yeah.
And you're going to watch me do it.
I don't need to be Michael Jordan. I could be Scottie Pippen and I still got 6 rings. 5 years ago, I was in business school to become an accountant. I'm a true believer that God has a path for every single person, but he's not going to show you that path if you don't block out the noise. A very successful tactic was like...
Now, one of the cool parts about living in LA, you run into all kinds of people, all kinds of actors and fun people who are doing a bunch of different things. Now, I've had the luxury of meeting these two gentlemen today who have built an audience after working so hard over the last several years. Who they were teenagers when they started, but they've built so much for themselves and been able to be exposed to a completely different arena and put in the hard work. And so the reason for today's conversation, you never know when it'll work for you. You never know how much your hard work is going to pay off. And these two guys have shown that in a variety of different ways. And if you're watching this on a YouTube channel, you might have seen a lot of their stuff. And these guys, again, have put in the work coming from Toronto to LA and just really putting in the work every single day to show up as who they are. I want you all to meet Mr. Michael DiMuccio and Emmanuele Massarelli. Welcome to the show, guys.
Pleasure. I'm very happy to be here. I'm excited. I'm looking forward to this podcast. Yeah.
So walk me through, and this goes like throughout this conversation, whoever decides to answer, I'm completely fine with it. So these guys are hilarious, first and foremost. And if you've seen some of their stuff, they just continue to keep me in laughter, and I haven't even known them that long. Mm-hmm. And so I know you guys have multiple series. You started off on YouTube gaming.
Yeah, we both did actually.
Yeah. Oh, you started gaming too.
Did.
So
different games.
I don't know which pages of you've seen them. I actually have 2 different pages. So I started off. We both did sketch comedy and gaming for a long time.
Well, it didn't
start like that.
It started off during the pandemic. Obviously, everyone was posting on TikTok, and then I was just playing a lot of video games in general. And then my brother, one time, he came to my room because they were doing music on TikTok for their stuff. And he's like, listen, you're at an age, you're 19 years old now. You're playing a lot of video games. You either, A, got to stop playing them, or B, you got to do something with them. So why don't you start posting about it on TikTok, see what that does. Playing a lot of NBA 2K. And I was like, looking at it, I was like, you know what, gaming doesn't really exist on TikTok. So I was like, why not mess around with it? Started messing around with like tutorial videos, like the best jump shot, the best dribble moves, things like that. And I started seeing like a lot of success with that like early on, just because I was one of the first people to do it. I got to a point obviously where there's so many people doing it, and like I hit it like a stalemate. And so I was like, okay, how can we go to like the next level of like actually trying to be a creator, because I always wanted to be a YouTuber. And that's when I kind of started making fun of the game, doing skits and that, like, because there's so many things that everyone can relate to in like NBA 2K specifically, but just in video games in general, that like everyone goes through those problems, and it's like, why does it exist? So I started making skits about that, and those just started popping off and doing so well. So got this guy, I was like, yo, start making some skits, because he was doing tutorials too.
Basically the way I
trying out some skits, and then he started doing that in Call of Duty, and I saw some success.
So yeah, I was gonna say like the way I started was so I saw him grinding. I was kind of just like in between places, also playing a lot of video games. And then I did this challenge where I was like the first person in the world to get this camo challenge in Call of Duty, pretty much, right? And so I call him at like 1 a.m. I'm like, yo, I just did this. And he's like, dude, make a video about it. So I was like, all right, screw it. Made a video. And I was kind of in the same mindset where I knew I wanted to do something in the entertainment space. I just didn't really have that opportunity yet. And so I posted that video. It got like 8 million views. I got like 60,000 followers. And I was like, holy shit.
Wow.
It's my opportunity. Wow. And so from that day on, I was like, all right, I'm going to grind this every single day until I get to where I need to be. And so, yeah, then he started doing the sketch comedy stuff. I saw it was working for him. He was like, yo, you should try this out. So he was doing 2K, I was doing Call of Duty skits, and that's really when we started to develop that format that was starting to take us to that next level on TikTok.
Yeah. So it was mainly like before the sketch comedy, YouTube wasn't doing much. Like we weren't really big on YouTube. We didn't really have a following. Once we actually started doing that, like making fun of the video games and that kind of things, like green screens and that's when YouTube really started to do well, because I guess tutorials were so saturated on YouTube, not a lot of people really were watching those.
Yeah.
And so like once we started getting into the sketch comedy, that's when like we started seeing a ton of success. And eventually, like everything, like gaming itself, it got to a point where there was like, there's only a certain amount of views you can get with video games because it's reliant on the game being good. If NBA 2K is not good, no one's going to want to watch NBA 2K. Yeah. Call of Duty's not good, no one's going to want to watch it. So we're like, how can we do this so just general gamers can relate to the skits? That's when we started doing more just like generalized gaming skits. And then we were like, we got to that point, we're like, okay, how can we do this where everyone can relate to these skits?
Yep.
And then that's when we eventually started to just transition into like normal comedy, and that's where we are now.
Yeah.
You're not really an unknown smug.
You know what? I'm gonna change eventually.
He's now the no. I was always like, wait. Are you now a known smug? Like, is that your name now?
The plan was always to just change it to like just smug in the future.
Yeah.
So like, cause I always knew smug had like a good tone to it, and plus there's a backstory behind like how I got smug itself. Like the unknown part came from like gaming. Like, you know, when you and your friends, you make a little clan or like you're like,
clan.
okay, let's all make our gamer tags the same. So we all put unknown at the beginning.
That's hilarious.
And I was like, you know what? Like starting off in game, I was like, let's do unknown smug. Eventually, I'll become just smug, because like no one's gonna walk around calling me unknown smug. Most people call me refer to me as smug.
Yeah, I was just smug.
So,
That's funny, because so I'm from Memphis. There's this album. I'm not sure you guys are 12, so you may not know 3 6 Mafia, but there's this album called The Most Known Unknown. And so that's what I feel like you are. So help me understand what inspired the smug part of Unknown Smug.
So back when I was younger, my friends and I, we went to like an amusement park. It's called Canada's Wonderland. And there used to be a trick to get your friends into the park, where when you leave the park, you would get a stamp to be like, okay, you can come back in. So what you would do if your friend didn't have a pass or didn't want to pay for a pass because it was like $70 and that, you would come out with the stamp and you would go to your friend and you would like transfer the stamp onto his hand.
That's
what they started doing is they started putting the word void on it. So when you would transfer the stamp, it would be upside down. So we did that, and my friend ended up getting caught, and we got taken to like this whole security station of the amusement park, and we ended up getting banned from the amusement park. Now I'm unbanned, considering the fact I spoke with one of like the higher ups, so I'm now unbanned. I can actually go back.
Yeah.
But we were banned for like a few years, and basically what happened was, I guess when one of the security guys was talking to me, I didn't think anything of it. I was like responding to him in that, and then he just randomly snapped and was like, "Don't be smug with me." And so because of that, my friends changed my name in their phones to Smug. Like, cause just it was an inside joke kind of thing. So when I was thinking of YouTube names, I was like trying to find something that like people can call you too. Like, you know, when who's in like Mr. Beast, like Mr. Beast. What's up, Mr. Beast? Instead, not a lot of people call him Jimmy. So I was like, you know what, Smug. I could see people like referring to me like what's up, Smug? How you doing? Like, and like it actually means something too. So
yeah, mine's just basic as hell. I have my main channel, which is Dimucc, which could be Michael DiMuccio. People in school called me just Dimucc. I don't know why it was a thing where everyone called each other by their last names in school, but everyone calls me Dimucc, even these guys who I live with. And then I started
a mix of both. Because I'm so used to
YouTube. I call him Smug. I call him Smug too. Yeah,
it's like a mix of both.
E-Man or Smug. And then then I started the music page. Now it's just Michael DiMuccio, and trying to make that more just known as a whole. I think
that's great, because it's funny. Speaking of Mr. Beast, because you just mentioned him. You all just did a skit based on Mr. Beast. Like
we didn't. Yeah, we didn't just do it. But
I got the inspiration from
that's where we got it from. It was back in the day.
So I was like, you know what? Let's do it. It's like when you live with an influencer kind of thing. And like I saw Mr. Beast was trending at the time, so I put the title Mr. Beast on it. And it's kind of like just living with an influencer. Everything's like a prank, and it's for $10,000.
Yeah, I mean, it was great. It was hilarious. And I know now you're also doing Living with a Musician.
Yes, that's my series.
So what's the inspiration behind that?
Well, I was like, okay, so I wanted to start this music stuff. It was kind of like a passion project of mine.
Yep.
And I was like, I wrote this song, and the guys were like, yo, I actually think this might have legs. And I was like, whoa, okay, let me try and make something out of this. So I was like, how can I build a music following with what I have?
Yep.
And I was doing covers, and they were doing well. And then I was like, you know what if I took like that funny skit element from like my sketch comedy page and try to make it work for my music?
Yep.
And so I was like, let me try doing a cover that is intertwined with like a skit. And I was like, let's do Living with a Musician. And so I started doing it, and then it popped, and I was like, okay, let's keep doing this. And so we're going to keep doing it and kind of just milk it until it stops working.
Yeah, for sure. And that's really what you have to do.
It is what you have to do.
Yeah.
When you see something, especially on social media, when you see something working, like you kind of just got to take advantage of it, because you never know how long that opportunity is going to last. And that's what really is about that mindset. You have to be willing to work your ass off when you get that opportunity, because then you're not going to be able to make something happen if you don't. That's your opportunity. If you can capitalize on that, you can get something amazing out of it.
Well, one thing I learned doing social media, it wasn't just about working hard. Because before, I always wanted to do social media when I was younger. And we tried messing around and posting and that, but like we were just posting for fun, like just stupid things that we thought would make a good YouTube video.
Yeah.
It wasn't just about working hard, it was also about working smarter. So what really changed like the mindset for us was we took a mentorship program with someone. You know, you see that online, like, I'll tell you about the algorithm, take my mentorship program, I'll teach you everything.
He didn't know anything.
He didn't no. The guy knew a lot. He didn't do much for us in the sense of like, we didn't grow that many followers taking the mentorship program, but it completely changed how we thought about social media. As opposed to just posting things for fun and just videos that we thought were good, we realized, okay, this is all an algorithm.
It's like posting with a purpose.
Like videos have to be hook at the beginning. You have to reintroduce a problem. It's like a whole plan that you have to have in your videos for it to actually do well and go viral in that. And so once we started thinking about that, then we started watching podcasts and other YouTubers talk about how they went viral, the idea, like the work they did and that. And when we started like, okay, how can we be a smart creator? Once we started thinking like that, that's when we ended up having to trickle into skits. And then we had that mindset with the skits. We were like, okay, I see this worked. I see why this worked. It was like this. It was set up like this, where we have the hook here. We have this problem here. We have this problem here. We have the ending abrupt here. Just the engagement part of it. And we just started implementing that in every single one of our videos. And that's when we really just started like taking off.
So what was interesting and intriguing, I think a lot of people don't understand the amount of work that goes into what you all do. There's a ton of work. We were just having a conversation earlier about just editing and the amount of time that you spend editing and doing all of these things. But the reality is you're entrepreneurs. You're people in business, and like what you're doing is you're presenting a problem to people and you're walking through the process of actually solving the problem or reaching a climax and then getting a way to close out that video. Yeah. So sort of walk me through your process. What do you feel like makes you successful?
Well, I think it's more like, I think it's like it does come down to knowledge is one big factor. We do know a lot about the algorithms and like certain things. Like it really is knowledge and experience is the main two things I would say, because it was not right away that we learned how to do this stuff and get like millions of views each time. You kind of had to like learn with each step and then take what you were learning, see what worked, why it worked, and like try to analyze why did this work, why did it not work, and then you take the stuff that was doing well and you repurpose it and you try to advance on that to make something that will be even better. And that's kind of how that's just kind of how any business works. When something's not working, you kind of got to look at what's going wrong or what you're lacking in and make up for that the next time you do it, kind of thing.
But a lot of people they try to reinvent the wheel when it comes to content creation.
Yeah.
They try and create something brand new that doesn't exist at all. And when you look at a lot of business products in general and that stuff, it's not something that's brand new. It's maybe something that's it's like a tweak of something else for another purpose.
Yep.
So what I found was a very successful tactic was like looking at people who are successful in what you're trying to do. Let's say, for example, in this situation, podcasts. Looking who are successful podcasters and what clip, like how are their clips formatted, and looking at that, trying to understand why their videos do well, and then be like, okay, now how can I take basically just the formula of what they do, not exactly what they're doing, not their content, that how can I take the formula behind how their videos do well and implement it with my stuff. So it's like when you're making a new product, how can I take something that exists right now and implement it with something that has another purpose, so that it's a new product now. You didn't reinvent the wheel, you just took something and just changed it. So that's a big thing when it comes to like content creation. And like anyone who asks me about it, like what should I do, how should I get views on YouTube, I go, okay, what do you want to do? Let's say it's fashion. That look at the people who are the biggest in the fashion industry. What are they doing? Understand what they're doing and implement it in your own way to your content. And that's what I find a lot of people don't know when it comes to social media, and they just try and, okay, I need to create the new viral thing, and that's so difficult to do because a lot of the times when something goes viral, it's just random. And it's just to maintain that. It's like, for example, everyone's taking Mr. Beast's content. There's a reason why he maintained that virality. It's because there's a certain formula to his videos. So it's like you can have that viral moment, but to maintain it, you got to start to develop a formula for your videos and always adapt to what's new. Yeah.
What's funny about that is the first viral video that I ever had on YouTube, you guys were like 10. So, but what I tell people all the time is that you have to be prepared to leverage that moment. So if you have a good video, you just can't create a good video and just think your entire life changes as a result of that. No, it's the consistency. It's continuing to do the work. It's building discipline and systems for yourself and understanding what made this video go viral. It's understanding why would somebody sit and watch this story in the first place. And I think a lot of what you do obviously is doing a lot of that. But taking a step back really quick, what would you say is the funniest video that you guys have done?
Ooh, the funniest video? That's tough, man. Like there's a lot of videos that I thought were hilarious that didn't do well. And there's videos that did well where I'm like, why the hell did I make that? And why did it do so well?
Right.
And I think what do you think for
Honestly,
you?
one of my favorite videos is like the living with a YouTuber video.
Yeah.
And the reason why I find it so funny is just because the way we came up with like the idea of it, like we were just in our house, kind of shooting the shit at night. It was me, Michael, my brother, and the person my brother works with, Vince, and we're just talking about like skit ideas and that, and like I forgot how we got onto the joke of like how YouTubers are always like, if you do this, you'll win $10,000. We got to like the whole idea of like, I locked my roommate in a burning building, and if he can escape, he wins $10,000. So we were just like messing around with that, adding on to more of that, and that's how I ended up getting into that like whole YouTuber series. Like, I put something in my roommate's chicken, and if he figures out what it is before passing out, he wins $10,000.
Yeah, honestly, like I honestly think some of his videos are funnier than mine, to be honest. Yeah. Like I don't know. One of my favorites is like the Fast and Furious video we did, where we were making fun of like every Fast and Furious movie. And so I had like a bald cap on, and I like drove a car, and it was just like this crappy Volkswagen that we had.
Did you cut the brakes on that one too? Oh, okay. So I'm gonna pivot. What's the worst video you feel like you've done?
Every video with the mom character.
Oh my god,
I used to dress up as like a mom character, and looking back on it, I kind of cringe a little bit now. But I can't even be mad because it got me to where I am today. Those are like my most popular videos. But the worst video I've ever made is probably like, I don't know, one of those like gaming videos where my voice was just like extremely high pitched. For some reason, we had this weird style of acting when we were trying to figure out how to do this stuff. We were like being super like energetic and smiley all the time.
Very
YouTubey and like very, very kiddie
acting.
Yeah. And
but the thing is, sometimes you got to do that on YouTube because like some of the biggest creators, people who have like 30 million subs in that.
Yeah, that's what they
Although
do.
sometimes their content could be cringy, number one, you got to respect the fact that they have 30 million subs. And there's a reason why, like you look at kids shows and that the acting is so like over the top and exaggerated. It's because kids, they get hooked on that. So if you're trying to like cater towards the more teens and that, you gotta tone it down a little bit.
Yeah.
But I find, to be honest, when you look at YouTube Shorts, most of it is kids watching YouTube Shorts. Anyway.
It is, yeah.
I've never really met someone my age who
watches
I watch
YouTube Shorts. Yeah, I've really never seen that.
They know TikTok, they know Instagram Reels, but like no one's like really like, I open up YouTube and I just scroll YouTube Shorts. It's like mostly kids. So like when people come up to us, it's mainly kids too.
Mm-hmm. So what is the mindset that sort of made you guys take the jump from coming from Toronto to LA? Like how do you decide that you're going to make that transition and really commit to it?
Well, it was actually like his brother.
Yeah.
Basically,
kind of.
I was trying to win rings.
Yeah.
I didn't need to be Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
So literally, I say that because there's like, I remember hearing this saying where it's like, I don't need to be Michael Jordan. I could be Scottie Pippen and I still got 6 rings. We're trying to win rings here.
Yeah.
So one time, every morning.
I think we should establish who your brother is. I think we should mention that.
He's like, they have a YouTube. They're musicians. Their name's Crash Adams.
Okay.
And they were doing TikTok at the same time as we were doing TikTok.
Saying
And
some
he's the one who started it.
Yeah.
He's the one who started it. They do like singing in public now and that. And so I was seeing my brother every single day. He was going to the studio there all day. And this was before they had no growth on social media. Like I'm talking like I used to do some work with him sometimes. And like we would literally hit up Instagram accounts. Hey, we have this song. Would you mind following us? Like to get to like our first 10K followers on Instagram. And now they're 2.5 mil around there. So it's like to see where they've come. So basically every morning he'd get back at like 3 a.m. probably. And I'd be up too because I was editing videos and that. And we would just, normally that's when we would just have some conversations, like 30 minutes in the kitchen. We're like making food at night before you go to sleep. You know, it was like late night, 3 a.m. make some food. And so one day, like this was like after a while, they went to LA. They saw a ton of success in LA. They were going to go back and he was back for the holidays. And they were going to go back and like actually like move out to LA and live there and that because they just signed a record deal with Warner. And I can't remember how, I think I had like 600K subs around then and I knew how to edit videos and that. And I was like, you know what? You guys are closer to breaking that barrier of superstar than I am. And I'm okay with putting my stuff on the back burner to put more efforts towards whoever's closer. Because again, I don't need to be Michael Jordan. Like we can be the Bulls and we can just win 6 rings. That's all we need. So I'll move out to LA and edit all your guys' videos. You don't need to pay me anything. You just pay for my rent. That's it.
Yeah.
I'll move out to LA, live with you guys. I'll edit all your videos because the person who was editing their videos is like one of the faces of. There's Crash Adams is 2 people. There's Crash and Adams. My brother's Crash and there's Adams. And Adams was editing all the videos, but he needed more time to focus on music, to focus on other things, and they didn't have anyone to do that. So I was like, you know, I have a background in being able to edit viral videos because of my YouTube. So who would you trust more than me? I'll move out to LA, literally just pay for my rent. That's it. I'll edit all your guys' videos, and then you can have time to do more things. And this was literally at 3 a.m, and my brother's like, done. Let's do it. Yeah. So literally a month later, I moved out to LA, started living with them, and he knew.
And then I was like, wait, I don't want to be stuck here alone. I want to go to LA. That looks like fun.
Yeah.
And so then I was like, all right, I'll come too. And then they were like, I actually remember calling his brother, and he was like, I was expecting this call.
Yeah, because my brother even knew once I moved out to LA that he was coming next because he was having a ton of success on YouTube. That he was gonna be like, all right, you know what? I want to come live in that house.
For sure.
And the thing is like one thing that not a lot of people realize is us all living under the same roof, all like 4 people doing the same thing, grinding the same way, working hard and all that. It just radiates onto everyone, and it's like when you're separate, it's not the same as when you're together. There's just a different kind of energy that you get, and it's like it's funny because it'll be like a Sunday, and I'm like, okay, how many hours of work did I put in today? 7. I could have maybe done in another hour. Then I'm like, hang on a second, it's Sunday.
Yeah,
like not so many people are just like Sunday, just chilling out, not doing anything on a Sunday, but I'm like, but this feels so normal to me, like because I'm just in that environment every single day, where every day may feel the same, but every day is wake up. What can we grind today? Can we? Doesn't matter if it's Saturday, Sunday, Friday. What can we do today to further us in what we're doing? And it's like I noticed that when I go home to Toronto and I'm hanging out with my friends, it's like a Saturday. It's like, well, let's go for drinks. I'm like, yeah, I just got to get some work done first. Like, bro, it's Saturday. What do you mean you got to get work? And I'm like, oh yeah, it's not as normal for people to just be working every single day, but because it's just us four in that environment, we're always just like we always just feel like that's the normal routine. Just wake up, work every single day.
We honestly lose track of days quite often.
Yeah,
we'll be working and like it'll feel like we've done the same thing every single day for 3 weeks.
I'll be like, wait, is it Tuesday or Monday? It's like, and
that's why I've been trying to go out more recently, because I'm like, I need something to like break up the stagnation, because sometimes like after a little bit you do start to get a little bit of a burnout. Yeah. And like you just need like a quick refresher, and then you're like, all right, back on.
But I noticed those like how like everyone's like, oh, it's Monday, I hate Monday. That doesn't exist.
That doesn't exist.
When
it does not exist.
You have a set plan for every single day. Okay, I'm gonna wake up. I'm gonna get work done, and it's gonna be, even if every day feels the same, you never wake up and you're like, oh, it's Monday. It's like Monday's like a Friday for me.
Yeah, I mean, and it's really just about mindset and having discipline around the things that you do. So, and it is funny because there are people who are twice your age who don't understand that, and discipline is not about how old you are. It's not about whether you're a creator or whatever. It's just the discipline to continue to do the work every day. And you guys have been doing that. It's crazy to say. I mean, I'm 34, and a lot of people, even my age, have no idea how much work it takes to do something like what you guys have done. So if you were to look at, let's say, where you were like 5 years ago, what advice would you give yourself? And I want both of you to answer that, but if I want you to talk to a specific person. What advice would you give yourself 5 years ago?
5 years ago.
5 years ago.
I would say stop wasting time is the main thing. It was more like 5 years ago I was like just playing video games, hanging out with friends probably. And I didn't really plan for the future, and I was like, if I told myself what to do 5 years ago and I was like, you should be working on this 5 years ago, I would have been that much further ahead 5 years ago. And I think that for me, that was what I would say. I'd just say like, stop wasting time on things that don't matter, and kind of just set your mind to what you really want.
See, the only thing is like everything I did 5 years ago led me to where I am now. Yeah. So yeah, like I feel like the only advice is start social media earlier. And actually take it like it's a job. Like we're like, I gotta be the best in this field, because when I started social media when I was younger, it was just posting for fun. It wasn't posting with intent of like, okay, this video is set up like this so it can go viral. I would probably say that, because when I actually look at like where I was 5 years ago, I was in business school to become an accountant. Yeah. So it's like, it wasn't in a bad spot. I just didn't know what I wanted to do yet. Honestly, maybe say 5 years ago, block out the noise. Yeah. Because I had this conversation with my friend, and I had a good time frame where I wasn't really going out much. And the thing is like, I'm a true believer that God has a path for every single person, but he's not going to show you that path if you don't block out the noise. Yeah. And the only way to figure, like my friend was telling me, like, you found out what you wanted to do when you were younger. Whereas like, I still don't really know what I want to do. And I'm like, the reason why you don't know what you want to do is because every Friday night you're going out, you're doing it, you're partying, you're doing all that. So you're not giving yourself time to sit down, block out the noise, and be like, what do I want to do? Because if you do that, God's going to tell you what his path for you is. And the thing is like, he's not going to tell you when you're constantly going out and you're not ready to take that path. Yeah. So blocking out the noise was like where I realized, okay, I want to become a creator. And then when that first video did well on TikTok, I probably didn't see my friends for 2 years. Like I was literally in the house. I was talking to this guy. It was during COVID. We were always working together in Discord calls, like talking about what can we do? What ideas do we have in that? Like we were doing. It's funny because you know how I was saying, like when you see someone who's successful in what you're doing, use that and implement it in your ways. Yep. So he was the first person to break like virality on YouTube. Like,
Yeah.
I got to about 100K subs, then got hit a little bit of stagnant, and then he found this method of videos. It's called like party chat style videos, where it's like when you're in the party with your friends and just talking about things like that, and just the ideas of like adding zooms to your video, sound effects, things like that. And so I started implementing it in my videos because we're always talking behind the scenes.
Yep.
And it's funny because I used to get a lot of comments started going like, "Oh, you're copying Dimucc."
We actually had beef for a little bit. I'm not gonna lie. I was a little bit of beef because I was like, he is kind of copying my shit, but I was like, but it was also like I taught him how to do it. So we're like, if he wins, then I win too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like
it was like there was people like honestly I didn't really care about like because I don't really care when people hate on me and that like I'm immune to that stuff. So like with seeing the comments, it's like it's funny because we're cousins. That's why our videos are similar because everything that he knows for his videos, I know for my videos because whatever information we figure out, we share with each other.
For sure.
So that's why. So like once it started getting out that we're like fam, that we're like actually cousins, and we're like we're not just two random people. People are like, oh, okay, that's why their videos are.
It's okay now.
It makes sense.
and now we're in every video. No, to be honest, I had the same thing happen to me when I started doing skits on YouTube. There was this other guy, who was also doing gaming skits, and everyone was saying you're just copying him. Once you get to a certain number of followers, then they shut up. Then
It's
they're
like, thanks for the engagement.
The thing is like what people don't understand is if someone came to your front doorstep, if a millionaire came to your front doorstep with a paper and said, "This is exactly how I became rich. Follow this and you will become rich." What are you gonna say? Nah, I don't want to copy you.
Right.
Like,
yeah, fair.
I'm going to listen to what you're saying because I want to be in the position you're in. Yep. So if you're telling me this is what you need to do to become rich, I'm not going to be like, nah, I'm going to find my own way so I don't have to copy you. It's like, okay, I'm going to implement this in what I'm doing. Yep. And if someone says you're copying it, who cares? I'm successful doing it. And it's like, I don't mean go and just steal people's content, but like our content, it was similar but different ideas. It was always different ideas. We never did the same idea for that specific reason. So it's like, don't go and steal other people's ideas, but what people are doing in their videos, and this goes in anything. If you see someone in the gym who's looking big, like, take advice from them. Take what they're implementing aside from the steroids. Don't take what they're implementing into their routine so you can get to where they are. You know what I mean? Like, and a lot of people don't understand that. Yeah. And once you start to like, okay, I don't really care what because everyone's gonna hate. Yeah. The world. Sure. I find the world is just they don't like seeing someone successful. Yeah. I don't know why, and it's because they want to be in that position. But it's like we all can be in that position. Yeah. It's not me or you. It's both of us. Mm-hmm. That's what our main issue initially. But it just came down to immaturity that we had was the fact that like. The mindset of like it was me or you, but it's like it's not like that. There's enough success in the world for all of us. Yeah. I'd love to see you explode and go viral. It's not like no, that now that you did well, I can't do well now. Yeah. That doesn't exist. Yeah. So a lot of people think that way, and once you start changing your mindset, that's when you're just like, okay, if you see someone, you don't even have any negative thoughts towards them, and you just don't care to hold any of that negative energy.
Yeah, honestly, sitting here with you guys, it's amazing because, like I said, there's people who are twice your age who don't understand like mindset and discipline and the ability to show up every day. But the truth of the matter is, Emmanuel, like you just said, there is a path to success. Yeah. And if somebody has shown you the way to do that, you don't have to do it exactly the same way that they're doing it. Yeah. You just have to understand how to apply that to what you're doing.
Exactly.
Yeah. My question for you both, though, is there a time when you felt like it might not work?
No. And you know why?
I'll tell you. We can tell you why. I'll tell you why.
We grew up
with my dad.
Yeah, not even just his dad. We grew up around the whole idea of the law of attraction. You attract what you get. Like, I'm technically still in school right now.
Yeah.
I have one more course left to finish. I've been pushing this course off because it requires me to be in Toronto in order to complete it. I'm in LA right now.
Okay.
So I still like haven't finished my schooling, and to be honest, I'm kind of doing it to like satisfy my parents. I if I had the choice, I could drop out tomorrow and sleep like a baby. And everyone when you say that goes like, but it's a good backup.
Yeah.
It's a good backup. My mind, I don't need a backup for the simple fact of if you attract what you believe.
Exactly.
So I know that I will be successful.
Yeah.
But it's not just I sit around, I'm going to be successful, and then every day, all right, what are we going to do today?
Yeah, it's like
the success?
we'll
I
just
think
chill out today.
I think
We'll just I'm not going to go to the gym. I'm going to go out. I'm going to go out. But where's the success? I know I'm going to be successful. It's about the best way to explain it is if you looked at yourself as a millionaire, what would that person look like? How would they be acting? And you got to act like that person would act.
Yep.
For example, you wake up every day. Maybe the first thing that person does is go to the gym. You go to the gym. When that person gets back, what do? They find out they plan. What work can we get done today? What can we do to further us in it? So it's like once you have that idea, that mindset of I'm gonna be successful, and then you start taking the steps to be successful. Eventually, it's gonna gonna like work out.
Yep.
If it doesn't work out, it's on you. There's something you're doing that you're wasting your time on. You're not putting. Maybe you're spending 5 hours doing something else when you could be spending the 5 hours trying to find out how you can be successful. Like there's something you're doing that's not working. And I don't mean try something for 1 year and if it doesn't work out, that's it.
Yeah.
Like I mean, if you truly think that like what I'm doing is smart and it's gonna lead me to where I'm supposed to be, and I'm taking all the time every single day to put my time and effort into this, and this is the way to do it, eventually you're gonna see success in it.
Yep.
There's no like I refuse to believe that it's possible that you will not see success in it.
And that's actually like the mentality. So my dad, ever since we were kids, like he's like kind of like the loudest in the family, if I had to say. And so we'd get together like basically our family is so close, and it's actually not usual for people to be like people don't really know their cousins like that. We're basically like brothers at this point. And we've been raised as brothers, and so we would get the whole family together, and my dad would kind of like preach in a sense to us about this whole mentality of like this drive, the law of attraction. Because he actually was close friends with Bob Proctor, if you know of him before he passed away.
I know Bob Proctor. I listened to a lot of Bob Proctor.
Yeah, so he was friends with Bob Proctor before he passed away recently. And I remember there was this one time. So he was having an event for his company, and he wanted me to speak at the event with my sisters about like the his company and how they helped our lives growing up and that. And so he had Bob Proctor actually speak at that event, and I was like. Me and him were both at the event, and I was like, I want to leave and go play this new video game that came out. Because literally, a new video, it was Black Ops 4, I remember. New video game, it came out literally on the day of the event. And I was like, I need to play this game. I'm so excited for this game. And I was trying to come up with every excuse to like not go to his Bob Proctor's like speech. It's like a 2-hour speech. And my dad was like, no, you're going to this. And I was like, fine, whatever. We ended up going to this. And it honestly, I would say, is one of the things that completely flipped my mindset from like that, from just like working on video games and doing whatever the hell I wanted to like, oh my God, the world is like your oyster and you can really make it to be what you want it to be. You just got to be vibrating on that frequency of that person you need to be.
Yep.
And for that same reason, that's why it's like we don't really carry stress or worry about what if, because we know where we're going to end up. Like, for example, my music page, I get all these comments saying, like, nah, go back to your old stuff. Go back. And I'm like, no, I'm going to be the biggest artist in the world.
Yeah.
And you're going to watch me do it because I know where I'm going to be. And I know that's where I'm supposed to be. And so when you know your end goal, the stuff in between doesn't matter as much because you know where you're going to end up. Let the rest of the pieces fill in the place afterwards.
But it's funny because that event that Bob Proctor spoke at, I remember... I woke up at 6 a.m. that day because it was an early event.
Was I at your house?
No,
I wasn't. Yeah, I slept over that night.
So I woke up at 6 a.m. that day, and Bob Proctor was the last person to speak at the event. It was like late at night. So like during his speech, I was like fighting myself to stay awake because I was like dozing off and falling asleep, and I wanted to listen to what he was saying.
Yeah.
And I remember the thing that stuck with me was you don't have to know how you're gonna do it. You can have absolutely zero idea how it's gonna happen. You just gotta put it out there and know that you're gonna do it.
Yep.
And literally, when we left that day, I said to Michael in the car on the way back, I said, I have no idea how we're gonna do it, but we're gonna be YouTubers.
Yeah.
I don't know how we're gonna do it.
Yeah.
We're gonna be YouTubers. We didn't do anything for 2 years then, but 2 years later, boom! As soon as that TikTok exploded, that was when my mind went back to that. This is the time. This is my exact moment to become a YouTuber. Now I'm gonna work to it. So it's like it's crazy how everything lines up.
Even like during the building stages of like when we were growing on the platforms, I was like, I think I had like 200,000 followers on TikTok at the beginning of summer, and I was like, I'm gonna hit 1 million by the end of summer. And I literally hit 1 million followers, I think, on August 30th.
Wow.
And the same thing, I was like, I'm gonna hit 1 million by the end of the year on YouTube, because I started growing during July, and then I hit 1 million on YouTube like December 28th or something like that. And so it was like, that was kind of just like a sign that like, all right,
it works.
It works.
Yeah.
When you really, really believe. It's like you kind of have to have some. It's like it's almost like delusion until it's not.
No, you have to.
It's delusional until it's not, and then everyone was like, "Oh my God, you're right."
Yeah.
I was definitely fortunate enough where I saw my brother's 6 years older than me, so he's 30, and I saw his heart. That's what really instilled the mindset in me. Is he wanted to be a musician. He was, again, same situation. He was going to become an accountant because my dad's an accountant and he's a partner in a firm, so we were both going to become accountants. And my brother was like, "Nah, music's my dream. I want to become a musician." And I saw every single day, like when there was no growth, nothing, but every single day at 12, maybe 11, 12 o'clock, he would go to the studio and wouldn't get back till 3 in the morning. And every single day he was doing. So kind of like, it's the things that people don't see. It's showing me that like, okay, they're at this point now, what they were doing to get to that point. I can't believe that if someone puts in work like that every single day, that they're not going to be able to get to this point. Because I witnessed it with my own eyes.
Yeah.
And because my brother's 6 years older than me, I have time to be able to like, okay, I'm 24. I still got a ton of time. So like, if I implement that stuff now, and the big thing for me was, I'll sacrifice my early 20s so that in my 30s, I'm successful and I'm able to do whatever I want.
That's it.
And a lot of people, they do the opposite.
They go
like,
party
okay,
in their 20s.
In my 20s, I want to be able to do what I want. I want to have fun. I want to do this. But then when your 30s comes, it's like, I gotta wake up. I gotta do something now. So it's like, I was doing the complete opposite because I'm okay with it. So it's like, I barely go out now. I'm 24 years old. I was barely going out when I was 23 years old, 22 years old.
To be fair, I basically never went out. I was not popular. I was not popular.
And so it's like, I'm okay with that. I'm not like, oh, I'm missing out on that. I don't feel like that at all, because in my mind, they're gonna be missing out on the life I'm living when I'm 30. Like, you know what I mean? The people who are who are doing right now what I don't want to be doing, they're gonna be missing out on the life that I'm living when I'm 30. So like, I'm completely okay with sacrificing right now for my future.
And I think that all plays into like your discipline, because like if you knew that by 30 years old you were going to be here, if you just kept working at it every day, would you like be like, no, I'm not going to do that? No, you would work your ass off every single day, because you were literally given the blueprint. And if you have that belief that like by that time you're going to be where you want to be, then you're like, doesn't matter, as long as I keep working at it every single day, then I'm going to get there. I just got to be disciplined. And so, it just depends on how bad you want it, is what I say.
And for all the people who don't necessarily believe the law of attraction, I guarantee you, if you reflect on some moments in your life, you will start to be able to connect the fact that the law of attraction has led to something happening. For example, my first, and I didn't realize this until now, my first moment where I really saw it, I was like 12 years old, 13 years old. We're on the way to, we were going to this place called Blue Mountain in Canada, and we were going away for the weekend with some family friends. And this was probably about a month after my birthday. And for like a week straight, I was like, I want a LeBron James jersey. It was like when he was on Cleveland, like the first time he was on. It's like, man, I really want a LeBron James jersey. I want a LeBron James jersey so bad. Like, I'm gonna get one eventually. And these family friends, we have not seen them for a while. So we get to the place, and they're like, hey, I have a birthday gift for you. A month after my birthday. We haven't seen them for a while. I open it up. It's a Cleveland LeBron James jersey.
Wow.
I was like, and it's not like my mom told them to get me that.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, what?
Yeah.
I couldn't stop talking about this for the last 3 days and how I'm going to get a LeBron James jersey. And all of a sudden, I got it now.
Yeah.
Literally, craziest coincidence. It's like when I look back on it now, it's not a coincidence.
Yeah. You brought it to you.
Yeah, I attracted the LeBron James
Yeah.
jersey.
Yeah.
And I guarantee people, if they think about their life in that sense, I guarantee they'll find moments that connect like that. The biggest like changing thing, have you ever read, it's The Secret to the Millionaire Mindset.
Yeah.
It's a book.
Yep.
And in the book,
And
it said,
there's the documentary The Secret, which Bob Proctor is in.
Yeah.
and in the book it said, go an entire week without complaining about anything. And I'm talking like anything. Like you're stuck at a red light and you're late for work. Don't complain. At least you have a car to drive to work, number one. And so it's like, go an entire week without complaining about anything. You just catch yourself whenever you get in that, catch yourself and be like, okay, you know what? It's okay. At least we're in this situation. And when I actually did that, I was like, man, life's so much better when you do that. Like,
Yeah, it is.
You know what I mean? Life's so much better.
Because you're changing your energy. You're changing.
You're living
Yeah.
from
frequency.
from gratitude is what you're living from.
Yeah. So once I did that, I was like I don't have as much stress anymore. Like I'm really stress free. Like life feels great.
Yeah.
I challenge any person watching this, go an entire week without complaining about anything.
I love that. So, all right, let's do this because you
Yeah.
all talked about The Secret. You talked about the law of attraction.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of people who don't know or don't have any idea what that is. One, why is it important to you? And two, what exactly is the law of attraction? Just so, let's say, fifth graders watching this, they understand what you mean when you talk about the law of attraction.
I would say the law of attraction is the energy you give off is what you attract. So the most simple way to explain it is like, imagine there's like phone lines, right? This is how Bob actually explained it to us during that seminar. So there's different phone lines, right? And if you're calling on a certain phone line and you keep thinking of the certain phone line, but the phone line you want is up here, but you're calling this one, you're going to get this one.
Yep.
And you're going to be stuck on that one. So when you're being lazy or consistent and you're not trying to reach that next phone line, you're just going to be stuck because that's all you're thinking about. That's your mentality. But if you decide one day that you're going to dial the other phone line, then you'll be able to reach it. You could be able to hear it. And you're like, okay, as long as I stay tuned into that frequency, that is where I'm going towards. So there's different frequencies in life. There's the frequency where you have a 9-to-5 job. There's the frequency where you're homeless. There's a frequency where you're a millionaire. Yep. You have to tune into that frequency. And when you tune into that frequency and really, truly believe, you have to really, truly believe. It's like you have to be so delusional to the point where no one can tell you otherwise because you know. And no matter what happens, as long as you stay consistent and work at that and stay tuned into that frequency, that is where you're going to end up. And it's important to me because that's it. In honesty, I think that's the reason why I am in LA. That's why I'm doing what I'm doing. I think the law of attraction is the reason I've gotten to where I am at this point in my life, and it's going to be the reason why I continue to go where I'm going.
Yeah.
And that's why it's important to me.
I have a funny example that I saw this on a TikTok, and when I actually saw this, I was like, that is so true. Look, count how many things you can find in this room that are brown.
Yeah.
Okay. How many? Maybe four, 5 things.
Yep.
Now, how many were orange?
Yeah.
You don't know because you were looking for what was brown.
The pillow is right next to you, but I know what you.
Yeah. You get
so happened
you
to
get
be
the
right.
metaphor. You get the metaphor.
You didn't get all the things in the room that are orange.
For sure.
You only knew what was brown because you were looking for what was brown.
For sure.
So it's like what you're looking for is what you're gonna get.
Yep.
If you're not looking for something, you're not gonna get that. So when you're looking for the negatives in life, when you're looking for like a lot of negativity, you're just going to attract negativity. But if you're looking for positivity and just success, like you can be anything you want to be. You just have to vibrate on that energy of that person, which is why I said, look at who's your millionaire self. What is your millionaire self doing? if you vibrate on the energy of what your millionaire self would be doing, you're gonna become a millionaire.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's essentially like the law of attraction to us. Just thinking of, just knowing something is gonna come true, and then also acting in the way that person in that outcome would be acting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's this thing Tony Robbins talked about. He calls it. No, it's called the reticular activating system, and it just is the example that you just gave. He always uses the example of a red car because one, a red car is very noticeable.
Yeah.
But in addition, when you start to see something, everywhere you look, it seems to be there.
Yeah.
So like when I bought my car, for example, it feels like everybody just bought the car when you got it. No, now because it's important to you.
Yeah.
That's when you're starting to see it. And so to sum up what you just said is exactly that. I wasn't looking for brown. I just happened to get lucky because an orange pillow is sitting right next to you. But aside from all of those things, you guys are awesome. And I say that, and truly I mean that.
Thank you.
But my question for you is, sitting where you guys are right now, thinking about all the things you've accomplished, you're still both under 25. What would the next 10, 15 years look like for you both as far as success goes?
I would like to. So I've already said this. I want 100 million streams of my first song. I honestly, I see myself as a musician in 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. I can't tell you why. It just like, that's just been like all of a sudden that's like a flip switch in me.
Yeah.
And that's like the new direction I'm following. But I want 100 million streams of my first song. In 10 years, honestly, 10 years, I don't know. I don't know. I haven't set a specific number, but I'd like to be like touring the world, performing, maybe have a wife and kids at that point. Who knows? Who knows where life will take me?
Yeah.
But yeah, I to be honest, I haven't even thought that far ahead. I've just thought 3-4 years ahead because I want to get to that next stage of my career in those 3 to 4 years. 10 years is a long time. I haven't even thought about that.
It is. It is.
Yeah,
It's half my life, pretty much. I just turned 22.
Yeah. Also, happy belated birthday.
Thank you.
For me, honestly, this is pretty broad, but I just want to be an entertainer.
Yeah.
And the reason why I say I just want to be an entertainer is because 3 years from now, 3 years ago, I would have had no idea I was in the position I'm in right now, in the sense of I went from wanting to make video games, like stream video games, to now doing comedy sketches and working with my brother in the music side of things, traveling, filming videos, directing them. Like I never thought I wanted to direct videos, but now I direct videos for my brother and that stuff. So it's like I had no idea like that I was gonna be in this specific position. So I have no idea where I'm gonna be in 5 years and how it's gonna look. Who knows what next thing? Because I would have never thought I would have even started dabbling in the music industry in general. So I was like, just based off the last 5 years, I just know I want to be some form of entertainer, whether that's an actor, whether that's directing, whether that's just being like a figure that people look up to, and that like, I don't know what it would be. I just know it's gonna be some form of entertainment.
And obviously, like financial freedom and like making a lot of money. That comes with it. I think that comes with the direction we're aiming towards. Because if you're the biggest in your field in anything, you're obviously gonna be successful.
You should be paid.
I don't think like money is obviously a great driving factor, but I think for me at least, it's more achievement than money. And like I just know that money comes with that achievement.
Yeah. So it's on that topic, you know, a lot of people, it's like, does money buy happiness? And that I think I think obviously money definitely can bring some happiness, and especially with people who like, let's say you're struggling with bills and that, it's definitely gonna bring some happiness. But I think it's the opposite. I think happiness buys money. So, and the reason why I say that is because name me a single person who is truly happy in their life that doesn't have money. If there's someone who is struggling financially or has something going on in their life, there's no way that they are just, if they sat down and looked within themselves, they're truly happy in the state that they are in life. But any person who is truly happy in the state that they are in life attracts wealth. So I think it's the complete opposite.
Yeah.
When you're happy with where you are in life, with what you're doing, even it may not necessarily be where you are in life, but you're happy with what you're doing every day. When you look in the mirror, you're happy to look at the person that you see in that mirror. You know that person's working hard to achieve their goals, and that when you are in that state, you're gonna eventually attract wealth.
Yeah.
So you heard it here from Pastor E-Man first. You heard it here.
And it's fun. So I have an example that actually people can start doing that I started doing too, that not a lot of people do. When you see a penny on the floor or a dime, do you pick it up?
In most cases, I don't.
You don't?
Yeah.
Now let me ask you: if you came to my house and I offered you a glass,
a dime, I would pick up.
Okay, a dime,
I pick up.
But even the
pennies, I typically grab and put them somewhere. Like the dimes, I put in my pocket.
So let's say you came to my house and I offered you a glass of water and you said no. Would I offer you a jug of water?
No.
So if God offers you a penny and you say no, it's okay, I don't need it, is He gonna offer you $100?
Yeah.
Look at this.
Are
you hearing this?
We also like I also say not just in terms of like finding a penny on the floor. That's also like in terms of opportunity. Like you offered for us to come on this podcast, and like I'm like yeah I'll go on this podcast. To be honest, most opportunities that we get in the social media space, like we go to these koala events, we have no idea what's going to come out of them.
Yep.
But I'm kind of just like open to the abundance of what God is willing to bring me.
And even the idea of like if a fan came up to me on the street and wanted to offer me an idea, I'm going to listen. I'm going to hear them out.
Yeah.
Because you never know what comes out of interactions.
Or
like
who they're going to be in the future.
You never look at someone as, oh, that person's not as knowledgeable as me. Even if they know absolutely nothing in what you're doing.
Yep.
Always take what they're saying with a grain of salt, because you never know what could come out of that conversation.
For sure.
Yeah.
All right, last question for you guys. I know you got places to be. If you could describe success in one word, you're looking at the audience, describe success in one word. What does success look like? Obviously without saying success.
Freedom.
Yeah, I think freedom is a pretty good word. Or maybe like, damn, that's tough. Success. Yeah, freedom is a good word because like if I just said happiness, like it's not as.
It doesn't hit as hard.
It doesn't hit as hard. You know what I mean? Yeah. Or maybe like abundance is success. I love it. I think
happiness is gonna come when you have happiness is gonna exist when you have freedom. I just think freedom in being able to do whatever you want it to do, whether it's one Tuesday you want to go to an expensive restaurant and enjoy that meal, or you wanted to fly home and see family, but your job's not letting you because you don't have the freedom. So once you achieve that freedom to just be able to do whatever you want, that's when I believe you're truly successful.
Well, I mean, but at the same time, like, I don't know if I would be happy if I just had money.
Yeah.
Because I'd also be wanting to do what I want to do.
It's not about just having money. It's not about just having money to be able to have the freedom to do what you want. If you have a successful business that you operate, you're going to have the freedom to be able to do things because you've already put things in place to allow you to do that. So just freedom as a whole, not just in money, in just anything.
True.
I find that's when I'll be truly successful.
I love it. I mean, you guys are amazing, and I really mean that when I say that. I'm
Thank you.
Glad you all decided to come on to the podcast.
This is a great podcast. I love this.
I love the message. I love the message you've been pushing. Like
definitely.
I see your Instagram.
Yeah, a lot.
Reels
Dude.
and the messages you push.
Love them.
I really align with what you preach.
I appreciate it, and you guys have given me more than I thought we were going to get. So I appreciate that too. But what I say every week is, although manhood may look different for everyone, remember discipline equals freedom. Discipline equals freedom.
Discipline equals freedom.
And the core values of authenticity, integrity remain universal. We are the disciplined man, and this is what real men think.